is amazing. I love this.
The little workshop.
This smell awful.
Oh no. I was just trapped up there. I shot it through. There's this little shed which is going to be very useful. We'll redo that. We'll make it match the house.
We had just moved into this foreclosed upon property in the countryside.
This is great.
And for one of our first projects, my good friend Jared helped me install a drain around the foundation of the house. And I sculpted out a parking area and started to envision what this shed site could look like.
You really stink. He's a stinky kitty.
And then, the following spring, right around the time we got our kitty Harper, we started cleaning up around the shed and making plans for a garden. The whole property was covered in trash, but we worked steady to create our own paradise.
I'll show you some of the problem areas here. Nothing dramatic. I mean, I'm going to replace these fascia boards. The siding and everything, I'm just going to paint it fresh white. My biggest issue is right here. This little sill board is all rotted. Some of the bats need to be replaced. Oh, we got a bird right there. Look at that. Can you see that? Wow. I'll wait till the babies hatch before I do this side, I guess. This fascia board also needs to be replaced. This window needs to be fixed. So I'll just rebuild this frame because the frame's rotted. That's a little bit of stuff going on like in this corner. I definitely want to clean this off, and this is the issue. I gotta dig this out so it's not sitting in the dirt. That's gonna rot that right out. I want to put a little porch on it. I think that would be cool. One of the main things I want to do is have a little secondary roof coming off of this where you can drive all the way through. We can store our bikes, and then yeah, the door's not in very good shape. The lights don't even work right now. They were working. I don't know what happened. The breaker keeps tripping. I still got a bunch of my stuff in here. I need to move all that out. I don't have a great place to put it. You can see the insulation hanging down. There's a lot of mice activity up there. This is just got to move the rest of this stuff out of here, and then I'm going to take these walls down, take this ceiling down, open this right up. I want to make the inside nice. I know it's just a shed, but I want to put shiplap everywhere, make it bright, nice, inspiring, a fun place to work in. I'll probably keep this workbench. I really like this. I want to retain some of that character. Never had my tools truly organized the way I want in my entire life, so revitalizing this shed will be game-changing for me.
Take this ceiling down, take this wall out, sweep it, and really clean it, take some of these shelves off, stuff like that, and I'll be right there, right about ready. That's why I got this homemade hazmat suit. worst enemy.
The better part is now they think I have one. Oh, wow.
And throughout the summer of 2024, while I gutted and cleaned, my good friend Mitch came by to help me straighten out the electrical. And our little kitty Harper was growing after surviving a wild surgery. But if only we knew then just how gigantic her little tail would grow.
Well, here we go.
Okay, here goes nothing. I hope this works. This is called the 3 Wasp Roundup.
Okay.
And it goes a little something like this.
Did it get them all? I don't know.
And as summer waned, I finally got down to business. And with the electrical run, it was time for the add-ons.
Boy, does this smell awful.
And I discovered my septic was not where I thought it was. Twice. But I worked around it, and everything smells fine so far.
Hey guys. Funny heads.
Her tail is all puffy.
Look at her. She looks huge. Harps.
I found that one of the keys to a successful project like this is not just staying organized, but keeping your tools clean, keeping your batteries charged, keeping your job site tidy. It makes a huge difference. I'm actually running this air compressor off of this Jackery 3000 Pro portable power unit. This is a very high demand tool. It draws like 1700 watts every time it needs to fill with air. This thing handles it no problem, and it's also charging batteries. And while the 3000 Pro is great to have around a job site, this is also our home backup power. You can see right here, this 30 amp plug allows you to connect to a transfer switch. So this is our transfer switch setup. You just pull a couple of circuits off of your main panel. You get to choose which ones you want. We did the well pump, the circuit with the fridge, and some various lights. All the essential circuits that we would need in case of a power outage, which happens all the time here. To connect the 3000 Pro to your transfer switch, all you gotta do is plug in one of these 30 amp cables, and then the other end goes right up here. And then here are your circuits. So this is very safe and easy to use at home. It's the perfect solution for home backup power. Typically we would keep it charged at 100% right off of the wall, but if we were to experience a major outage for a long period of time, we can also charge it via the solar panels. It only takes 100 minutes to reach an 80% charge, which is nuts considering it's 3 kilowatt hours. One of the things I love the most about these Jackery Solar Generators is that they have ultra long standby mode. You charge it to 100% and the battery retains most of its power. Functions very well in cold weather. It also comes with a great warranty and the confidence of buying from a global leading brand. And if you've been wanting to try home backup power, now is the time because Jackery is running their Black Friday sale. There's some codes and discounts in the video description. Just hit the link that's applicable to you. So thank you to Jackery for sponsoring this video, for continuing to support this channel, and for making this transformation possible. Now back to the story.
As the leaves started to change, I battled between making progress on the shed and documenting fall throughout New England. But even with some good traveling, I was able to make strides in between.
All the ordinary things you expect to find in a soffit. American spirits and Listerine. Who knows what year that's from. So crisp. It also seemed like after last night, the entire forest around the house turned completely gold. I was just trapped up there. I shot it through this tiny little piece. I wasn't paying close attention down here. I was holding the piece up. I shot it through and I was stuck to the wall. The only thing I had on me was my knife, and I was able to dig the nail out. But holy crap, this is what happens towards the end of the day when you're not paying that close of attention. Whoo! Pinned to the wall, up on a ladder. And I was just looking down here at the dikes. I was like, can I reach those with my toes if I take my boot off? I might have been able to, but I got out. Whew, that hurt. So many leaves are coming down. Such a crisp day. Got all the bats taken care of. So the whole outside is sealed and trimmed, and it'll all be white so you won't even notice.
I was working with the weather a lot on this project, especially towards the end with all the paint and stain. It was challenging to figure out the order of tasks as it related to the temperature.
With the roof, feels like it would be a little more like this.
And more often than not, The mornings and evenings were very clear and colorful. My first go at the window glazing wasn't great. If only I had known how much better the putty is than the tube.
67. So I've had to do a lot of steps 2 or 3 times on this project, and it can be very frustrating. One example is right here. So I'm insulating this, so on the inside I put these, let's see if you can see it. They are plastic pieces that rise up and allow air to pass through up to the ridge cap. In order to keep spray foam from coming down into the soffit here, I put these 2x4 blocks up. I didn't nail them or anything, I just kind of pushed them into place, but on some of these, I pushed them too hard and it squeezed the vent right up to the roof. So now air can't even pass. So now I gotta go back through with the fine tool and take off the top of these 2x4s and try and regain the air passageway. Some of them are okay, but a lot of them got messed up. If I could do this again, I would have just used little pieces of cardboard. The only goal of putting a block there was to keep the spray foam from coming into this area. And I probably already knew that when I was doing it, but it didn't feel like I was pushing them too far. But this whole project has been full of that. And it can be very frustrating and make you lose steam, make you want to quit, make you feel like you're wasting time. But you're not wasting time, because now you know that you're never going to do that again. really have had to do everything on this project twice. 3 times, 4 times sometimes. But there are so many details in building and so many things to think about. When you're buying a door, you got the rough opening is of course the most important. And then you got your right hand in swing, left hand in swing. And I was focused on those 2 things and I forgot to even look at the size of the jamb. So now the door that I bought sticks way out on the inside. I think normally you would work your way from left to right, but in all honesty, my porch, my new construction, I know it's a little out of square. I think that the original structure is a little bit more in square. So I want to start on the original end, try and get as straight of a line as I can, and then as I get towards my end, if it gets wonky, then I'll start to compensate. A couple things to consider that I've just recently learned doing metal roofing is where you're gonna put your screws, on the flats or the ridges. And you can read tons of information online about doing it either way. A lot of the manufacturers will say to do it on the flats because it gets you a better seal with the washer, but when you talk to actual roofers that are out there doing it every day, it seems like they all say do it on the ridges. Water runs downhill, so put it at the highest point. Even if the little rubber gasket fails, you're still less likely to get a leak because the water's not going to be up there on the ridge, it's going to be down in the flats. The other thing to consider is the driver that you're using. You don't want to use an impact and over tighten the screws no matter where you put them. So I'm using a drill set on one of the lowest settings so I can. Takes a little bit longer to tap in, but then I have perfect control over the tightness of my washer and none of my screws are going in too far. You want to see the washer just get perfectly flat, not over tightened. Other than that, yeah, it's going pretty smooth. This is the easiest part though, because I get to stand on this roof. It's going to be much harder when I have to stand on a ladder to do a lot of it. Never mind the back side, that's the tall side. The roof is done. I can't believe it. Took so much more work, more steps than I thought, but it's done. Now I'm gonna clean up my job site, organize all of my materials, and get ready for the inside. I wanna redo the old floor that's there. Got a lot of cleaning to do now. The inside's very messy, a lot of foam, a lot of boring stuff, but here goes nothing. Okay, here's the before. Yesterday was a tough day. Spent a lot of time running around. Basically, I knew I shouldn't have really been using the planer on the floor because of the nails. It's just faster than a sander. Like, it gets more material off quicker. And this is 30, 40 years worth of wet boots, so it's pretty gnarly. But yesterday I ran around and I bought a belt sander as backup. Of course, I bought the wrong size belts to sand. But anyway, I bought more planer blades and I started planing. Just felt like I was hitting nails every 2 seconds. So then I went around and I punched every single nail down further, kept hitting them, shattering blades. So much so, I probably changed them 3 times. And now one of the Allen keys on the planer that you tighten the blade down with is stripped, so I can't even get one of the blades off. But luckily I had bought that belt sander, so I started using that. And I honestly like the look better with the sander because it leaves the rough saw marks on the boards. I'll show you here the difference in texture. So I'm gonna do the rest of it with the belt sander, which is great. And I got some really gritty stuff. I got 30 grit. But what happened yesterday at a random point, taking a break to help Allie. She was splitting wood with her sister. And we've got a couple really big rounds of ash. that I had to cut in half because they were too long. And so I was just moving one up onto these little risers so I could cut through it. And I was just being lazy and not really thinking, because I wasn't picking it up. I was simply just moving it a little bit. And I tore my lower left back. I felt the muscle tear. And now I can hardly walk. I can't bend over. I can't hinge at all. Once I get into a good position, it doesn't hurt. Like I can kneel on the ground and sand the rest of the floor. I'm not going to push it and further hurt myself. But my God, I have not had an injury like this in my adult life. And it just, you take for granted how much you can do when you're fully healthy. And it can happen so quick. I'm always really good about lifting with my legs. Always conscious of that. And the one time that I'm just being a little lazy and didn't bend my knees enough, always have to be careful. It can happen in the most insignificant time, but check out the difference in the sanding patterns. So this is what I'm getting when I'm planing, which is just fine. And obviously there's some inconsistencies because the blades would rip, and I'm gonna even that out by sanding. But this is what's happening when I just sand, and I didn't get a chance to really go deep on this, but you can see the saw marks, which I really like the look of that, especially once I get some stain in there. And I'm gonna go a little bit deeper and expose it a little bit more, but overall I think it's gonna look fantastic. Getting down to the wire here, it's not going to be, I mean, it's been really warm for November, but the temps are finally starting to drop. There's snow on the horizon, and I just finished sanding the floor yesterday, and I want to hit it with tung oil, but it's too cold, really, and the windows aren't quite done. Honestly, the windows, I kind of rushed them. I didn't know that glazing took weeks to dry. I let it dry for like 9 days. Still wasn't quite dry, and we painted them yesterday, and they don't look great. They look okay, but I'll have to probably redo them in the spring. But today, I'm actually gonna start editing this video because I'm getting down to the wire on my deadlines. And Allie's sister's gonna come here and do the stain. So I got basically covered the windows and the door with plastic. She'll be in here, she'll have a ventilated mask, and then we're gonna put a heater on overnight to help dry this stuff. So hopefully it works out well. I did the table, it looks pretty good. It's a little bit more reddish than I thought. I don't know if that's just the lighting, but it looks good. That looks really cool with the rough saw marks. Man. of wood, little pieces of wood.
Nice.
And though my back was limiting me, I pressed on, as it seemed to feel better every day.
Here we go, Harps. What a feeling. She's done, for now. I'll explain more, but let's show you the inside.
All that's left, take this ceiling down, take this wall out, sweep it.
Believe it. I can't believe it's done. Ah, incredible. all these different builds and projects, you learn different things, and some of them stick, some of them don't, but after you do them enough, they do start to stick. And so this project was the first one where I was completely on my own and I had to figure it all out. This was the perfect project because it's pretty low stakes. It's just a small little shed. It's pretty much falling apart. I'd never done rafters, never done metal roof, windows, never done a lot of this stuff. I made so many mistakes. At the end of the day, it is just a shed. It's a perfect place to practice. And it came out beautiful. I couldn't be more excited. I can't believe how it looks. I can't even tell you how much this is gonna change my life, just to have my tools organized. And that's the thing, this is just the start. I just moved a few things in here. I have so much stuff to go through and it's gonna take a while to set it up fully. I'm definitely my happiest and least anxious when I'm organized. I just feel like I can do anything, I can conquer anything. There's something about restoring what was here. You get that flair of character that I wouldn't be able to achieve if I had built a shed from scratch, like this table and the way that it's so worn in with so many marks and the floor. But yeah, I still gotta do a bunch. Like I gotta wire in a bunch of the other outlets. I gotta wire in all the lights up top. This was essentially phase 1. And in the spring, I'm gonna do phase 2. If you enjoyed this transformation, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, great holiday season. I've got a lot more videos coming before the end of the year, so stay tuned and we'll talk soon.